Hello, welcome to Heal Thyself. Today we're going to be talking about applying the personal energetic wavelength to health conditions. Hi, I'm Lily Woods, and I look forward to talking with you on the personal wavelength today. My company's name is Body Harmonics. We offer a lot of different modalities that all work with different vibrational characteristics of your body, and we come up with a full comprehensive plan in our treatments. What is a personal wavelength, and what are the origins of the personal wavelength? Every person has a vibrational frequency. I was taught this method by Dr. Robert Gilbert at the Vesica Institute in his personal wavelength class, and also in biogeometry. The personal wavelength is found by stretching the cord on a pendulum to find the actual frequency that's being emitted by an individual's energy body. You tune and calibrate the pendulum like an antenna to a precise length that resonates with an individual's particular vibration. This was used in ancient Egypt, as you see here, depicted on the temple walls. This was a protected private practice that only initiates learned, but now we have access to a lot of this private information. This actually gives us access to a spiritual quality that gives you a dimension within physical space. When you stretch the cord, the first line that you find is the width. And then when you extend out a line at 90 degrees, you have the depth. And when you stretch it even one more time, then you encapsulate the three dimensions of that calibration. Stretching the cord is the creation of the manifest world through spirit moving into spatial dimensions. We all are quantum and we all have energetic frequencies. When we capture the personal wavelength, we are calling what they call vibrational radiesthesia, which is very different from mental dowsing for a variety of reasons. First, mental dowsing is something where you create a condition in your mind and then you try to test for that. Vibrational radiesthesia is you are looking at an energy source and finding the frequency of that energy source. You can detect directly the invisible vibrations coming from any person, place, or thing. The vibrations differentiate from each other, so you can know the exact quality and the functions of each separate vibration. So it's very distinct, and it's very easy to separate them out once you've been trained. You can test the vibrations within any part of a body, any substance, any energy or living being at any scale, whether it's a micro scale of a DNA element or moving up to the size of a cell, an organ, an energy center, a chakra, a meridian, entire body. You can test and focus on whatever aspect of that you're looking for. Vibrational radiesthesia develops a human subtle bodies in a completely different way than mental dowsing. You get a new organ of perception when you're trained to do this. And so you learn how to perceive the subtle body characteristics of the body. And I'm actually using my energy state in my body and my focusing and becoming an extension of the pendulum and the antenna to the actual anatomy chart. We are able to perceive the invisible ocean of vibrations, which is called the universal chi field in China. And vibrational radiesthesia opens up a new spiritual perception into our life energy. And Rudolf Steiner called this the new etheric clairvoyance. We use witnesses in vibrational radiesthesia, and witnesses can be created in multiple different ways. One is taking a photo of a person and print it with an inkjet printer. And you might have heard in some of my previous podcasts about how inkjet printers and colors also have frequencies and vibrations. So if you use an inkjet printer, those colors will vibrate within that individual's picture to their wavelength. The laser printer doesn't have those characteristics. Or you can create a witness from a a piece of simple white paper that's rubbed on a person's skin, around their nose, collecting some oil and some DNA and some skin, and possibly having them personally write a signature. This witness then can stand in for that person, and a lot of the testing can be done in their absence, or you can do it remotely with a photo. So once you have the personal wavelength you're working with and you have it calibrated, you can start testing for different conditions for that individual. I work with an anatomy chart, and the testing is done on all the major organs of the body first. I look at the reactions of the pendulum, including spin direction and the strength and the momentum of the spin. I record all of these things and then use these elements, strength, weaknesses, what's going well, what's not going well, and develop a plan. So let's talk about what a clockwise spin means. Clockwise is good. This is the direction of life force. If it's strong and consistent with the personal wavelength, that means that that organ is healthy and working as needed for that person. If it's weakened, then there might be some improvements needed or some slight blockages in that system that you might need to address. If it's counterclockwise, this is when you know that there's something not so good happening. Counterclockwise is bad. It's the process of death. So when you look at something that's counterclockwise, you look also at the spin momentum. If it's weak, you have to fix it. If it's a substance you're testing, it's something you might not want to eat or put in your body. If it's very strongly counterclockwise, you certainly want to avoid it, and you certainly want to do a therapeutic intervention. So now I want to share with you a video that shows actually how I go through PWL testing all the way through the anatomy chart to the actual meridian structures and a therapeutic intervention. So now we're going to go through a demonstration of using the personal wavelength to test bodily organs and also then on the meridians and finding an intervention. So I have my witness here that was created earlier by swabbing a piece of paper on somebody's skin and having them make a signature. And I'm going to now calibrate the string, stretch the cord to that personal wavelength. Now I have a strong indication that I have that personal wavelength. And continuing to test over this meridian, then we would test all the major bodily organs for any problems that need intervention. I'm going to start with the right kidney. And I see about the same clockwise rotation that I had over the witness without the kidney linked. And so that is in a pretty good condition. Now let's test the left kidney. Once again, very strong clockwise circulation and momentum, so that is also okay. Let's test the urinary bladder. And you'll see here we're getting a counterclockwise spin and pretty strong. So there's some problems here we need to address. So now that we've identified one problem, I'm going to show you how we take that problem onto the meridian chart and look for an intervention. So some of the bladder key points are LI1 and LI2. So LI1 and 2 start in the hand at actually the nail beds. And this is also polarized, so I need to test both hands in both polarities. So if I test now LI1, there's a nice strong clockwise rotation, which means that point is doing pretty good. There's no blockages there. LI2, and you'll see this one has a counterclockwise rotation. And so we need to make some interventions and clear this blockage. And there's a lot of different things you can do. One thing is to use a crystal. This is mystic merlinite or indigo gabbro, and this has been known to do a lot of detoxification. So let's see in linking this stone to that meridian point if there's any benefit. And I'm not seeing any benefit to that. The counterclockwise spin is about the same. So that's not the right approach. Now I'm going to try frankincense, which is a very powerful essential oil, on Li2 and link that in by touching it and closing that energetic link to the meridian point. And I'm seeing yes, the frankincense does clear that blockage at that meridian point. So I would counsel this person to use frankincense on this exact meridian point. I would teach them how to do that. And then I would move through all the other points on the meridian until we come up with a plan to treat the bladder blockages. So just to clarify again, having documented the problem areas on the body, we then investigate them more deeply on an acupressure traditional Chinese medicine chart that aligns to the problem areas in the body. With these measurements and the clearly identified problem points in the body, we develop a therapy plan to address the issues found. Now, I want to be sure I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not prescribing or diagnosing a medical condition. I'm not recommending you stop any medical treatments. Alternative practices harmonize your body to a natural state, and they have highly effective strategies that can really bring your health where it needs to go and deal with problems that medical professionals cannot. So the exact problems that we identified on the meridians of the body that require attention can be different things. This picture here is showing you how the chakras move through the body and also have the front and the back polarities. This energetic system can be tested remotely or in person. And the treatments can also be applied remotely or in person. Not all the treatments, but some of the treatments can be remote. If there's a persistent problem in the energy body that needs to be addressed, a specific approach will be established to maintain the chakra balance. And once you do the initial treatment and the assessment, you may need to come back and do that testing over to make sure that that strategy and that approach is holding. You want to be sure you find something that clears it and holds. Our energy body is in a constant state of flux, especially when we're in a dis-ease condition where we have something that our body's addressing. Once that alleviates and the interventions start working, we need to retest and make sure that we don't need to make adjustments. So some of the things I'm going to talk about right now are biogeometry recommendations, supplement recommendations, crystal recommendations, or other types of therapeutic approaches that you can use. An important point here as well is that when you're taking prescribed medications, a lot of times medications can have very detrimental impacts to your body. And you need to understand what's happening and what the impact of those. And it's not all medications are good for everybody. So you need to be aware of what medications are good for you and what medications that you may have bad reactions to and or be allergic to. And if you find something that is bad for you, discuss that with your doctor about making adjustments. Artificial sweeteners have been known not to be very good for people. Dairy and creamers might not be good for you. Fast foods, not always. I mean, it's hard to avoid them sometimes, but healthy foods like avocados have been known to be really healthy, and blueberries. And then also a lot of supplements that can really support your body, and also chelation therapies that can clear out heavy metals like mercury, et cetera, that we find daily in our drinking water, et cetera now. Another intervention that is in person only, but it's very highly effective, is cymotherapy. Cymotherapy uses complex sound frequencies that are introduced in either your hands or feet into those same TCM meridians, and they can treat multitudes of medical conditions. And a lot of these complex frequencies can be overlapped so that you can have multitudes of benefits happening. Sound is a communication channel that the body recognizes just like an electronic impulse. The electromagnetic frequencies of sound are consumed by the body, and it's a mechanism that happens day in and day out. This can create a very impactful and regenerative experience for you in your body. Biogeometry is another approach. Biogeometry can happen remotely, or you can do some things in person. On your person, you can wear energetic jewelry that are protective, but also you'll see here I have a pendant and a ring. Both of these have multitudes of biosignatures on them that help protect your organs in your body. And then the necklace that's shown here is all specific to an organ. The brain stands in biogeometry are profound, and they work with the different elements of space time as well, and can actually access different parts of your brain hemisphere, your pineal gland, etc., and are can make very powerful adjustments to your body. This also depicts multitudes of the different biosignatures that are available. A lot of them address certain organ features, etc., and they've been known to be very, very powerful. These shapes are three-dimensional, and the work of Dr. Ibrahim Karim in Egypt is just phenomenal, and the healing benefits of these are immense. So we've covered a lot today, and here again is body harmonics modalities. We cover a lot of different approaches, both remote and in person. We can offer you an approach that works for you and a therapeutic intervention that works for you. So glad you joined me today. I'm glad we could talk through using the personal wavelength for your healing journey. Look forward to seeing you next week in our next presentation. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next week, this is Dr. Lily Woods. Bye-bye.